Alright folks, Min-Max Munchkin back again with another video. Today we are going to talk about a healer build. So this is not your build that deals damage, this is the build that is focused primarily around healing. Now, two things. First of all, there's like a little bit of controversy right off the bat. Some DMs are not going to allow this combo. The combo at hand is a Life Cleric feature, Disciple of Life, which heals additional hit points. Add it onto your Good Berry spell, which gives 10 berries that heal for 1 hit point each. Now, the Disciple of Life feature works, at least the official Wizards of the Coast website confirms that the Disciple of Life feature synergizes with the Good Berry spell, resulting in each berry healing 4 hit points instead of just 1. If your DM will allow this feature, give this build a go. You're going to have fun because it's really fun. Now, first of all, you're going to be a Furbolg. Furbolgs are one of those Volo's guide to monsters races, which, I mean, pretty much you can pause the video and read. Pretty much nothing is really important other than the traits, ability scores. Wisdom is +2, strength is +1. Everything else is just an added benefit. You do like know additional languages, and you have advantage on charisma when communicating with beasts and plants. You can become invisible. You're really strong. Furbolg magic. You can cast detect magic, disguise self once per. I think it's short rest, right? Yeah, short rest. Yeah, I mean, really good abilities. Unfortunately, you do not have dark vision. I'm one of those people that really loves dark vision. If you can't live without it, if you're like me and you really almost cannot live without it, just go with the good old dwarf. But yeah, I mean, in that case, your point buys are not going to be the same as here. Now, if you're going to run with the Furbolg, which I actually advise, because why would you always play dwarves? Like, sometimes you need to play other races, right? First of all, this character is not going to be that much min-maxed, but to some extent it will be. Our dexterity is the dump stat. We are pretty much not going to be a dexterous character, and yeah, our dex saves are going to be really bad. But I mean, yeah, that's what you get when you're min-maxing. Strength pretty much at 15. That's what you need. You need 15 strength to carry heavy armor. You can put it at 16, but then you need to bump your intelligence or your charisma down to 8. I would actually not I would advise against it. You will see why soon. So yeah, 15 in strength, 17 in wisdom, 2 odd number stats. You pretty much guessed it by now. You will be also getting feats, and you will be multi-classing, obviously. That's what we do here. Now, your background is going to be a folk hero, animal handling and survival. We are going to be maxing our wisdom, so getting 2 wisdom skills from your background is always good. You have some features here. Pretty much choose whatever you want for your backstory and background. First of all, druid. I would advise starting with the druid instead of cleric. No significant differences other than saving throws. A cleric gets wisdom and charisma. Druid gets intelligence and wisdom. No significant differences other than skills. Skills, you get to choose more if you are a druid. I mean, technically you only choose 2, but the selection is bigger. If you go back to cleric here, you will see that like there's not many skills to choose from, only like 5, like 6, right? Druid gets more, like 1, 2, 3, almost 10, if I'm not mistaken, like 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, somewhere around there, 8, 9, 10. One of those is perception. So perception is one of the best, if not the most important skills in game. You pretty much, if you want to build a capable, competent character, you pick perception every time. So that's why I would go with Druid first. Now, that said, we are also going to be taking 3 feats, not 1, not 2, but 3. You don't have to take all three, but I would if I was you. One of those is observant. It's like one of those feats that like are really good in a majority of characters, because it gives a bonus to your passive perception and investigation scores, which are like always useful to have. Like, you're always looking at something, trying to hear footsteps. You're always searching for something in rooms, dungeons, and whatever. So it's one of those feats that are really good in a majority of situations. Warcaster, now, I really like Warcaster, especially because of this feature here, that you can cast spells even without having a free hand. Now, this ability, the way I read it, yes, you can have a weapon and a shield in hand and still cast spells. Now, shield is a +2 to your armor class, and anything that enables you to have +2 to your armor class is really good in my books, and that's why I like the Warcaster feat. Especially if your DM is really picky about the somatic components of your spells, in which case you pretty much need Warcaster if you want your AC to be 20, right? So that's why you pick it. As well as advantage on concentration saving throws, and the ability to cast spells on opportunity attacks. Now, this last portion is not going to be that useful, but still, I mean, if you can make an opportunity attacks, maybe you want to cast a spell instead of just whacking that monster with your quarterstaff, right? Last but not least, heavy armor master feat. Entirely not mandatory, but I really like it. And why is there not heavy armor? Oh, there it is. Yeah. It pretty much minimizes the damage you receive from bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from non-magical weapons. Now, as your character levels up, the frequency of attacks that deal this type of damage is going to be less and less. But even at level 20, you might get in a situation where a monster deals like a crap ton of damage with its bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing, and that damage gets reduced by 3. It's always... The way I read it, like, you get healed by 3 hit points every time you get hit. So that's how I read this feat. With that said, let's quickly go over the racial features. Obviously, your Shepherd Druid gives you a bunch of starting abilities and skills and proficiencies. You have the ritual casting from your Druid Wild Shape. A challenge rating 1/4, not that useful. Still, you can turn into a spider. Nobody ever pays attention to spiders, and you can sneak into like wherever you want, right? So it's always good to have that. Speech of the Woods is one of those Druid of the Shepherd Circle abilities that kind of like synergize with your Furbolg's advantage on charisma checks to influence beasts. Not that useful because your charisma is going to be only 10, but you never know. I mean, you might want to talk to that bear, and who knows? Sometimes it's even that. Like, yeah, the more the better. Spirit Totem is the main feature that you're interested in, particularly Unicorn Spirit, which is going to increase your healing even more. Life Clerics, 17 levels of Life Cleric. I mean, you pretty much know, everybody knows, like, that Life Cleric is the best healer there is in game. Now, the reason we are not going pure Life Cleric here is the following. You are relatively early on getting the 2 combos that you pretty much want and need to have. First of all is the Good Berry. We already covered that at the beginning. The other combination is with the Healing Spirit spell. Now this spell is ridiculous on its own, even without the Disciple of Life feature from your Cleric. Right here, this spell is ridiculous. Now with the Disciple of Life feature, it gets broken. It is legitimately broken, and I would go as far as, even though it's completely legal, there's nothing in the rules that prohibits you being able to use this combo. But like it is broken. First of all, it can be used in combat because it's a bonus action casting spell, but it's not that useful in combat. Its primary use, in my opinion, and objectively, is out of combat. Now, combined with the Disciple of Life, you heal 1d6 plus a second level spell plus 2. So on average, each turn you heal 7.5 hit points. On average. Sometimes it's going to be more, sometimes it's going to be less. But over the course of 1 minute, which has 10 turns, you heal on average 75 hit points to every creature that passes in the field of the Healing Spirit. That is ridiculous. And you can cast this combination starting from your level 4 character. There's no level 4 character that has more than, I don't know, like 55, 60 hit points. Like your Barbarian is not going to have more than 50, 60 hit points. And you're going to be able to heal each and every character in your party for on average 75 hit points. This is plain ridiculous. This is broken. Like nobody can tell me anything else. And like this is one of those rare combinations where the designer simply probably couldn't work around it and maybe didn't even consider it, and you can perfectly legitimately and legally use this combo and laugh in your DM's face, and yeah, it's that good. Obviously, the progression is going to be pretty straightforward, unless your DM is going to be a little bit picky, seeing how you want to use and abuse this combination. Now, your Druid, I would start with the Druid. More skills. Immediately at the second level you will go into the Cleric, get that heavy armor. Now your DM might also be picky about the heavy armor, because Druids specifically state that no metal heavy armor and shields. Druids will not wear armor and shields made of metal. Now, personally, I see this limitation as ridiculous because, yeah, they cannot wear shields and armor made of metal, but then they are proficient with daggers, maces, scimitars, sickles, spears. All of these weapons have metal on them. So, personally, I would just ignore this, but if your DM is really, really picky and wants to really limit you, yeah, sometimes you won't be able to use that heavy armor. Still, you can wear medium armor, and if you really get creative, you don't have to like think really long and far. You can use giant turtle shell as a heavy armor. Like, it's perfectly legitimate heavy armor, and there's no reason for it to not give you 17 armor or even more. A turtle, like a turtle from Tomb of Annihilation, its shell gives a flat 17 AC. So yeah, you find the turtle, you kill it, you take its armor, and you don't even have to kill it. You can find the dead skeleton of a turtle or a giant turtle, and you have like a 17, 18 AC non-metal heavy armor, right? So there's that. Yeah, pretty much that's it. The combination of Disciple of Life with the Good Berry for a 40 hit points with the first level spell, and Healing Spirit for a total of 75, on average 75 healing points to every member of your party as a second level healing spell slot is just ridiculous. So these are your primary tier 1 and tier 2 healing spells. After that, you're not going to be that reliant on Good Berry, but still Healing Spirit is always good. I mean, 75 hit points, it's like really ridiculous. One additional thing, your druid is going to be, I would personally choose Shepherd, because this thing right here is going to add additional 3 hit points heal in a wide radius of 30 feet as an aura, bonus action, short rest, rechargeable mechanic. So your healing is really going to be off the charts, and you are going to be pretty much out healing the damage your allies and party members are going to be receiving per turn. Because even if the monsters come and the deadly encounter, I'm pretty sure that you can out heal, almost out heal even the deadliest of encounters, right? Even like on high levels and low levels, because you're just that competent at healing. Spells, I mean, only I would just like consider these 4 from the cleric. Mending, not that mandatory. Shillelagh from druid, always really good to have with that quarterstaff. Goodberry, must have. Absorb elements from druid as well. Healing word from cleric. Guiding bolt, also really good to have. Healing spirit, we already talked about it. There's no reason not to take this spell as a druid ever. It's one of those Xenatar's Guide to Everything spells. It's a concentration spell. It's really good out of combat. Like, I already talked about it. This spell is ridiculous. Aid from Cleric. Bonus temporary hit points. Mass Healing Word at level 3. Level 3 spell. Level 5 Greater Restoration. Almost like a must-have as well. You get from the Life Cleric domain. You get all of these really good healing and revive. And also spiritual weapon spell, which enables you to have additional damage. So you're not only really good at healing, you're competent in damage dealing as well. Level 6 spell heal, 70 hit points, plus 6, plus 2, plus 3, 82, right? 81, 82 hit points with a 1 level of spell. It's... with the 6 level spell, like, it's ridiculous. It's like one of those combat spells that are like, yeah, I heal my ally for 80 hit points. Screw you, DM. Hero's Feast, always good to have. It's one of those maybe less known spells that you cast before combat. It lasts for 24 hours. Enables your allies to be immune to a bunch of stuff, have advantage on a bunch of saving throws and whatnot. Regenerate, attach those lost and cut out limbs back to your allies. Even if your ally loses both of his or her hands, you can just attach them back or regrow them. That's like, this is what this spell does. Ridiculous. Level 8, nothing mandatory, but these 2 are really good always. And level 9, Mass Heal and True Resurrection are your like staple level 9 spells as a cleric. With that said, yeah, this build is really good at low levels and remains really good at high levels, especially because of this, like, Healing Spirit remains good because it scales so well. Level 3 adds 1d6, level 4 is a 3d6, a level 5 spell slot is like a 4d6 healing plus 5, plus 2, plus 3, like a ridiculous amount of healing. Yeah, give this build a try if you like this video. If you want more support, utility, healing, non-damage dealing builds, let me know in the comments down below, and subscribe to my channel. Hit the bell button to get notified in the future. And with that said, MinMax Munchkin out, and see you soon.